my kids, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a fun but short video. I don't know if it's gonna be short, maybe it's gonna be long, I don't know. Today we're doing my January reading wrap up. All the books I read in January. I know it's a bit late, we're like in the second week of February, so almost Valentine's Day, but I decided to just do it sooner rather than later. I read 10 books last month, and is that a lot? Is that not a lot? I don't know. It depends how long I can yap about 10 books, and I feel that might be very long, but let's talk about all the books I read in January. The first book I read in January is Cade by Jenna Miles. Now this is book 1 of the Brash Brothers series by Jenna Miles, obviously. And I partially reread the series. I've read the series before and I really enjoyed most of the books in the series, but I decided let me reread it. I'm kind of in the mood for the family again. I want to read about the family again, so I picked up Cade, which I rated 3 stars. I rated 3 stars the first time around and I rated it 3 stars again. Cade, like all of his brothers, is a bit damaged. He's a billionaire and he owns an auto body shop, and this was the first shop they owned, and which really kickstarted their career into billionairehood. And he then meets a woman and he is forever changed. We meet Becca. Her life's kind of a shit show. Her dad just died, she just got scammed, and then her car breaks down. She's like, fantastic. But lucky for her, there's an auto body shop nearby, so she pulls up. Turns out the place is closed. She's like, shit, well, might as well wait, can't do anything. So she waits in her car, falls asleep in her car till the shop opens. But Cade, for some reason, is driving to the shop, like I think in the middle of the night or early morning hours, and he sees this car parked in front of his shop, and he's like, bitches be loitering again. But he knocks on the window, sees it's a hot woman, and she's like, oh. So the thing about Cade is he's kind of like a fixer. He likes to find women he can fix, and he sees Becca as another problem for him to fix. And the thing is about Becca is she's no damsel in distress and she doesn't like taking handouts. So they clash a bit, they fight a bit, and it's fun. He ends up giving her a job, he ends up giving her a place to live. There's some conflict, some miscommunication trope. All of the women in these books are plus sized, so that's fun. I really like that. This wasn't my favorite in the series. Not even when I read it the first time, it's not one of my favorites in the series. Cade being like trying to find anything to like be, oh, she's doing this wrong, or oh, he's really just looking for problems in the relationship, and that's why this is not working, babe. I really like that Becca, she's like a martial artist, so she can fight. Bitch is a badass, and she teaches women to fight and defend themselves, and it was really fun. I think it was a good start, and it will kind of get you hooked on the series like it did me. I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, this is fine, I want to continue reading, and so I did. The next book I read was Micah, and this is the second book in the series, and Micah is this like massive giant man that also doesn't speak. He's like mute because he had an accident when he was a child and he had brain damage, so he can't really speak anymore. So he uses sign language, which I really liked. I really like that representation. And then we have little Holly. She is a character we met in the first book, and we met her in this, like in Becca's dojo, I guess. She went for a class to learn how to defend herself because she comes from an ex-abusive relationship, and she fled, and now she's here. So we follow Micah and Holly's story. I don't know really how I felt about this book. I rated it 3 stars as well. Something that I really don't like in books is when the male main character is immediately obsessed or in love with a female main character. Like, that's not real. That's not how it happens, and I hate it. I need a bit of conflict. I need a bit of tension. I need a bit of angst to thoroughly enjoy my stories. So I don't like that. So keep that in mind if you're gonna go into the series. A lot of them are very insta-lovey, and I don't like that. I don't really like that. So what happens in this book? Holly, her building kind of burns down, and she gets into an accident, and she then moves in with Micah. So it's like false proximity, but he's already in love with her. And I don't really like that. Like, I want them to bash heads a bit. What I did like about this book, I do like domestic scenes. I like them just hanging out, being in love, doing the dishes, or whatever, because you don't really get to see that in films, TV. You don't really get to see that. You only get to see the drama, the action. So I really liked the domesticity between them. I also liked Holly basically growing into herself, into her sexuality with her therapist. Going to therapy, very important. I liked that. There was a bit more angst in this book. It was a bit more suspenseful because we did see some scenes with her ex-husband and what happened there, so I really like that. What I didn't really understand is Micah is supposed to be this grumpy, tortured soul man who doesn't speak except in like a few words, but he only does that when he's really comfortable and trusts someone. But he almost immediately does that with Holly, which just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I wanted him to be more guarded, you know, like make her earn your trust just like you're earning her trust. Like, I didn't understand why Jenna didn't like stay true to him as a character. I felt like she didn't do that. I then, obviously, the next book in the series was Colton. I rated this 2 stars. I think this might be one of the lowest ratings of this series. One of them. The other one's coming up. Colton. I think we went a little downhill with this one. In the previous book, Holly reaches out to a character named Evie, and Evie helped her basically escape her past abusive situation, and Evie was a nurse. And in doing so, Evie made a lot of people angry, especially her ex-husband who had like friends in the police force or something. So Evie kind of got like bonked on her head, and she lost her daughter, she lost her job, because they said, babe, you're doing drugs, so you can't work here anymore, which wasn't true. So stuff happened. She gets her daughter back, but they're still living in dire conditions because no one wants to trust her anymore. They still think she stole drugs, so she can't work in hospitals, whatever. Holly then begs Evie, like, come on girl, move to Chicago, move here, and we'll get you a job. And Evie's like, I don't know if I want to do that, I'm not sure. But she then finally agrees, and Colton just shows up at her door, knock knock, we're here to move your doll. So Colton moves her into their massive high-rise building where every freaking brother lives, and she gets like her own apartment. Her daughter has like a sparkly bedroom. Amazing. Something that irks me so much of Colton is that, yes, he's a billionaire, but he's like he likes throwing money at problems to fix them. Sure, like, fine, your money can help a lot of people, but it's just this like blasé attitude of him like just throwing money around willy-nilly. Yeah, here's the new house, here's the new school, here's this. Like, bro, it's like, this doesn't even mean anything. Like, oh, Evie doesn't like my pretty yellow car, might as well just get another one. And I despise that, and probably that's probably the most realistic thing of this fucking book is billionaires being so blasé about money, they don't give a shit, okay? Then we're heading up, girl. We have Declan. Declan, wherever I put the cover. Declan, I rated 4 stars. This book is about a geek, a nerd, a lanky little boy called Declan. And he's like the IT brother, you know, he's good with the computers, he does the background checks, whatever, for the company. And he gets really awkward around this beautiful, stunning woman, Cara. Now, Cara is like this Jessica Rabbit-esque woman. She's like, wears long ass heels, she's tall, she wears like tight dresses, and she knows she looks hot, so she uses that to her advantage in business, which is why everyone likes her. And she's like this badass club owner. She's very headstrong, but she has a thing for Declan, geeky, nerdy guys. So she's always has this crush on him, and Declan seems to be very standoffish against her, and that's only because he gets nervous around her. So we kind of get thrown into their relationship where it has hit a snag. Declan says something really dumb, and she's like, wow. Wow, I can't do this. So the book follows basically Declan making amends, making an ass of himself over and over and over again. And I really did like it. We have the one bed trope in this book. They're like stranded in a snowstorm, which I really like. Yearning and pining, a lot of groveling, which I do like, and obviously it's a bit angsty. I did enjoy that. The funny thing about this book was Jenna Miles made sure to tell us, don't worry guys, Declan was like a geeky nerd lanky boy in the previous books. Yes, he was, but don't you worry, he's hot and he has abs now, so don't worry. Which is hilarious to me. And I really think you should read it. I think I rated it 4 stars. I think it's one of the better books in the series. And if you're gonna read one of them, probably read these next few I'm gonna mention. Then we have Zach. This is the next book. This comes after Declan, and this is where we're making money. Zach is like this pompous asshole. He cares way too much about how he looks, about his Rolex and his shiny black loafers. So when Maya, this weird whimsical woman that comes into his life to work under him in his department, he's like, what the fuck is she wearing? Maya is this like, she reminds me of like a hippie. Her hair is always wavy, she has glasses, she wears crystals, whatever, and she likes wearing bugs on her skirt. She likes bug patterns, it seems, and she always loses her shoes. And he kind of like hates her for like the first few chapters of the book, and he's like, not like, how can I say hate, he's like very irked about her because she's so unclean, not unclean, but unruly, unneat, and not at all what he is. But they have to work together, so they have to spend time together, they have to go to work functions together, they have to go to galas together, and that's where the relationship kind of grows into something more. This was one of the better books in the series. I really liked it. I rated it 4 stars as well, and it was fun. I really liked the relationship. I really liked the fact that it wasn't insta-lovey, so if you don't like insta-love trope like me, this is probably the way to go. I really enjoyed it. I liked Maya. She was really refreshing. Like, who doesn't like a little weird girl? Everyone likes someone who's a bit unique, and Maya really felt like a very unique character. I also liked the hurt/comfort trope that we see in this book. It's a really slowish burn, which I also tend to enjoy. Maya, like I said, she's weird and kooky, but she knows she's weird and kooky, and she knows she's good at her job, so she's like, I don't care what you think about me. And she's just so sweet, and I love her. I love this book. Then we have my favorite book in the series, Jonas. Jonas is, if you're gonna read one book out of this whole series, read Jonas. Jonas is autistic, and he kind of takes notice of this girl who's been working for them for a while, but she's been kind of flying under the radar. But she is so observant. She really knows what's going on in the company. She knows what's going on with people, that she kind of caught a thief. And that's how she got on these brothers' radar. And she noticed something about Jonas. And Jonas is like, this girl fascinates me. So they kind of start off as friends-ish. And Janie, our female main character, is kind of dating this other man. But something happens and the man turns out to be an awful idiot and she kind of needs help. So Jonas steps in and offers to marry her. He's like, girl, you should marry me. And they do. They get married, and basically the whole story is about her falling in love with him. He's already infatuated, in love, obsessed with Janie, and he's determined to make Janie fall in love with him. I love this book. It's so sweet. It's so wholesome. It is just perfection. I think Jenna Miles really cooked with this one. I really like both of the characters on Neurodivergent. She has some learning disabilities and he's autistic, so I really like that. And I'll probably reread this book over and over again. Then the last book I read in this series was Ransom. Now this is the book I didn't read on my initial read. I didn't read it. I was done with the series and I never got to it, so I was like, let me read Ransom and then I'm done. Let's start with new things. So I rated Ransom 1 star. This for me was one of the worst books in the series. It really went downhill. I was really looking forward to Ransom's book. Ransom is like the biggest brother. He's like the one who gathered all the chickens and formed the company and brought everything together. So he was like the dad of the group, and like the whole series was building up to his book. So I was so disappointed when I finally started to read this book. Ransom already met the love of his life, unlike his brothers. So this is like a second chance romance. Ransom made a promise to his past love's dad that he would always take care of her, or that he would buy the shop which her dad owned. Her dad owned an auto body shop, and he promised her dad that he would buy it so that she doesn't seem to be stuck in her old small town forever like her mother was. He wanted her to travel, to see the world, but she doesn't really want that. She loves her shop, she loves the town, she loves being here, she loves the people. So Ransom keeps sending her offers and she's like, fuck you, bro. I hate you. You broke my heart. I'm not selling you my shop. So he's like, you know what? Let me head there. Let me head there and tell this woman something. And I'm like, okay, bro. He drives to the town and his car breaks down. And you know, who shows up with a toolbox in hand? It's Bree. No, it's not Bree. What's her name? Briar. And Blaine. Not Briar. Brian. The Afrikaans is coming out. Blair shows up with her toolbox in hand, ready to help whoever called her. And reunited, and it feels so good, it seems. So they get reunited. He ends up staying in town to try to mend this because she's like that one Katy Perry song for him. The one that got away. I didn't even finish this book. That's how much I despised it. So, Ransom stayed in their house when he was a teen. When he was 15, I think a bit younger, till 15. He lived with her dad and with her in the house because they fostered him. And the reason why he had to move away was because they were getting freaky. They were about to get freaky, and her dad was like, bro, I need you to leave because if you guys do the devil's angle, she will be arrested for statutory rape. Why did Jenna Miles feel the urge to put that in this book? Like, you could have chosen any other reason for him to move away, but statutory rape?
Oh, hell no.
I can't. And that's where I immediately stopped. I'm like, I can't do this. No, 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 and that's where I immediately hit 1 star. I hated it. Then we move out of the Jenna Miles universe and we jump into a book that I've already read again. I read the first book in this series again because I wanted to continue with the series, which I didn't end up doing. So was it a waste? I don't know. I then read Dear Grumpy Boss. I rated this book 3.5 stars. It's okay. This is another book where I was like in my curvy girl romance era again, and I wanted to read about plus size women. So I picked up Old Reliable, which I did really enjoy the first time I read, and it was fine, it was good. This book follows our main character, Elise, who kind of finds out her boyfriend has been talking shit about her, making fun of her, and she's like, you know what? No, I'm leaving this shit, I'm leaving. So she moves back home and she gets a job working for Weston. And she and Weston has some history, so things get a bit spicy at the office. What I really enjoyed about this book is Elise actually being affected about what her boyfriend said about her. I feel like authors tend to, if they write plus size women, they tend to write about these plus size women who are so flippant about what anyone has to say about their body or whatever, and I get that. Some women are like that. But I feel you can be confident and you can be flippant about stuff people say, and also reflect on what people say about you, because words hurt, girl. And especially coming from a partner or someone you trust, I feel I really liked that our character Elise was bothered by what was said, but she also packed her bags and she knew her worth and she left that shithole. Now Weston, he's a grumpy guy, hence the title Dear Grumpy Boss, and he has always had a thing for Elise, but he never acted upon it because of her brother. And I've kind of grown tired of the trope of where, oh, you're dating my sister, bro, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Like, bro, your sister is not your property. She can date whomever she likes. She can sleep with whomever she wants. So I didn't really like that. I think authors need to stop doing that. There's a lot of miscommunication and a bit of angst in this book, a lot of Wattpaddy angst, I will say. So it really took me back, and I'm like, oh, that's why I like this book so much when I read it when I was a lot of it younger. But read it if you want. It's a pretty fun standard book if you want a billionaire romance with a curvy plus size woman, a little bit of angst, a little bit of drama. Please do read it. Then the next 2 books I'm just gonna group into one, and those are the first 2 books in the From Blood and Ash series. I read From Blood and Ash, and then I read A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Now, you've probably heard of these books. I rated them both 5 stars. Is that so surprising? No, it's not. These 2 books are obviously BookTok classics. Everyone and their mother knows of From Blood and Ash. If you don't know, this book follows Poppy. Poppy is this like maiden. She's this character which she should remain pure and innocent because the gods have chosen her to be their savior. She's like book Jesus. She's their Jesus, and she thinks that's some bullshit. She doesn't like that. She doesn't want to be their maiden. She doesn't want to be special. She just wants to be normal and do normal things and experience things. And that's when she meets Hawk. Now, Hawk is this awesome, handsome man that can fight. He's vicious, and he also really likes Poppy. And so they meet accidentally at like this brothel. She's in disguise and she ends up accidentally in Hawk's room, and he doesn't know who she is. He keeps telling her, remove your mask, I want to know who you are. And she's like, no. So he gets called away, she leaves, never to be seen again, and then he gets stationed at the palace to be her new guard. So he has to take care of her, he has to protect her. I needed to find a word for protect her from all this weird shit that started happening. People are dying. There are attacks. There's an uprising happening. So it's very fun, it's very interesting, keeps you on your toes, and it's really action-packed. I read these 2 books in maybe 2 weeks. I'll refrain from telling you what happens in A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, because spoilers, duh. I really like this book, obviously. If you liked Akatar, if you liked Fourth Wing, if you like any kind of romantasy, you'll probably like From Blood and Ash. The characters, obviously, we have a love story, we have romantasy, and it's very good. I really liked it. And there's some twists and turns, something I didn't see coming. You know, some things I didn't see coming, especially in the second book and the end of the first book. It's really, really fun, and I'm excited to read the rest of the series this month, February. And I'm excited. If you don't see the next books in the series in my February reading wrap up, let's not say anything because I'm currently reading a lot of books. I'm reading books for my TBR video, I'm reading Fourth Wing for another video, and I need to start Alchemize for another reading vlog. But those are all the 10 books I read in January. I really thought this video was going to be short, but it's been like over an hour of me recording this. So we'll see how much makes the final cut. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much for commenting, for liking, for subscribing. It makes my heart so happy. If you want to check out the Substack, it will be in the description. Maybe. If you want to subscribe, please do. It's free, girl. And like and comment whatever you want. Just say hi. I don't know. And then I'll see you next week. I can't believe I didn't say I'll see you when I see you, but I want to see you next week, so I'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.